Welcome back to the Ponca City Monthly Podcast. I'm your host, Andy, and it's Thanksgiving. We've already made it to this far, and so we're doing things a little backwards this month. Usually we do kind of a preview of the magazine very first thing of the month, but this year Kelsey was a little busy. She, in addition to being editor-in-chief, she's also mayor, so she had some mayor stuff that she had to take care of. So we're going to do it now. So you're going to get the behind the scenes of the November issue right now. So Kelsey, how are you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, I had a couple different conferences back to back, so I was traveling and, we were trying to catch things up with the magazine, and we do the directory, and I have a lot of things going, but honestly, I feel like the end of the year is always our busy season.
Right.
And then we get to take a break in January, so we're sprinting towards the end.
After working with you for so long, I know that when I get certain types of texts or emails from you, I'm like, you know what, we're just going to push this project and we're just going to chill out for a minute.
It'll be okay. Yeah.
So that was one of those. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I haven't heard from her. She's obviously busy. So one thing I do want to mention is that this podcast is sponsored by Greenwood Aerospace. After we get to the end of the year, it's a great time to remember charities. They sponsor the Northern Oklahoma Humane Society. Great program. You can always donate to them, and they always need volunteers. So go to the Northern Oklahoma Humane Society website and check them out. Kelsey, let's jump into this issue. It was a fun issue. I loved the cover story.
Fun issue. Well, and this was our first issue with our new writer, Charles Guerin. And he is just such a dynamic writer. So I'm really excited. This is his first cover story. So, the rise of esports in Oklahoma schools. I thought that was a really catchy title too.
Yeah, it was funny because sometimes, not always, but sometimes, especially this time of year, we really make the decision of what's going on the cover kind of last minute. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes we have things in store and then just photos and things don't work out, so we wait. And so this was a story that we actually waited. And what I thought was funny was because almost a week to the day that you told me that was going on the cover, I had interviewed Kat Long about PonCon. And PonCon had a big gaming new thing this year that they were doing because of this. And so I thought it was such a great roll in that week we did that. And then this week we did the esports gaming on the cover.
Yeah, it's fun. I remember when I was in journalism school learning about like what is news. And a lot of people don't maybe think about it, but like timeliness, relevancy. And so it does seem like I've heard so many people talking about esports. There's a lot more kids involved in it. It's become a lot more competitive. And some of these kids that maybe were in physical sports now, they're still involved. It's just a different kind of sport. So,
sure. Yeah. And some of us that weren't cut out for sports, this is fantastic. I can imagine how my life would have been different if esports had been around.
You could have been an award-winning esports kid.
Maybe, yeah. Now, whenever I play Fortnite, I can tell when I'm against like a little 6-year-old or 8-year-old because man, they are just so fast. They can build those little buildings and things. And
games really, like, I know I have 2 teenage boys, like it's kind of their whole entire world. All their friends are on there, and so it does make sense that the world would kind of adapt to that. So
so fun story there. Let's see, what else do we got going on this issue? Fun things. The big airport story that was actually we put that out on Facebook and got a lot of responses.
So that really is fascinating because that actually was, I think, proposed to the city commission maybe 8 months ago. They're still working on getting funding in place for that. I think that was one of the questions we got a lot is like, well, how are they going to pay for it? Well, there's some really big FAA grants, and with all the government cuts, a lot of the grants are kind of on hold. So even though we have the plan in place, and it did get a tremendous amount of traffic on Facebook, we don't have all the funding finalized yet, but we're hoping that most of it will be grant funds and just a small portion will be local funds. So
but lots of big changes out there. Enrique's will still be in business. We're just enhancing everything that they're going to be doing and the facility for them. And
that was the big question is like, what happens with Enrique's? We need our puffy chips. And so the city was very, obviously I'm not involved in that process, but the city was very delicate and very they wanted to make sure they were taken care of. So the new facility will actually be built in front of the old facility. The old facility is too close to the runway according to the newer updated FAA guidelines. And so Enrique's will continue to operate. And then once they get the new building built, they'll just move over to the new building. So it'll be very seamless. So no downtime.
Wow. Okay. So I guess I didn't realize they're building a whole new building.
Yes, it'll be a whole
Okay.
new building. It's one of those things where the old building is so outdated and it has so many code issues that it would be more expensive to retrofit it than to just build new.
Sure.
So, yep.
Yeah. That's cool. That,
Yeah.
like I said, the pictures, we have the pictures in the magazine. They're
Beautiful.
online.
Yeah.
Really cool stuff going on. We had a couple of business spotlights this month that were kind of fun.
Yeah.
Gage with Watson Construction. That's always a fun story. And they are actually working on Aesthetic State of Mind's new building out there on Lake Road.
So Watson Construction is, I feel like, kind of the new guy in town. Excuse me, the first building you probably saw that was very visible was the Four Arches Barn, which is out by Lake Road. A beautiful, award-winning, I mean, he really took that building that was just an abandoned stone barn, completely rebuilt it from scratch, because it was like half of it was caved in. So he had to meticulously restore it and then, modernize it and update it to a new modern office space, I guess. But there's a big, huge new house. It's like an over 10,000 square foot house for a private resident here in Ponca City. But yeah, he's got the new Aesthetic State of Mind building. And so he's really just kind of become a lot more prolific and is building a lot of really cool buildings. So
yeah, and that first building that you were talking about, the barn, that was one of our biggest stories for a long time.
It was. We did it. That was one of the first year stories I think we did, and that one just kept on, yeah.
Well, because I think that was sort of the start of that development project, so a lot of people were just interested in like what's going on, and now you've got Stolehan across the street, so that whole little area has just seen a huge change.
It is
in just a very short amount of time.
Well, and I'll just add that there's a bridge right there, right on the other side of Stolehan, that it's going to be shut down in January because they're putting a new bridge in there. But I really think that whole area is probably going to be the next kind of big booming development area. It seems to be very popular.
So the bridge will probably help.
I think so.
Because it's going to be there's a lot of things. There's Ricky's.
Yes, Ricky's is right over the bridge.
Yeah. A lot of fun things there. We also did Ziggy's Coffee, which is one of your favorite spots, right?
I do love Ziggy's Coffee. I love all the coffee shops, but when Ziggy's came in, they've got that nice little seating area, and they always they remember your name. They do a really good job of anticipating kind of what you want. And it's just a beautiful building. The owners are wonderful people. So if anybody hasn't been there, they have like a little app that you can get points and things. So I love Ziggy's.
Yeah, quick little space to get a drive-through coffee. Always a fun time there. Let's see. Oh, and we also had that crafting story, which I just put on Facebook this morning.
Yes,
now it'll be a week later.
Well, so it's funny how this story even came to be. There is a lady, Krista Robertson Gammon is her name on Facebook, but I met her a couple of years ago, and she kept telling me Kelsey, we have this crafting group. I think this would be a good story. And I said, well, I've got it on my story list, but we didn't really, sometimes it takes a while for it to get to the top, but they were having this big event and it was at the 4th Street Clubhouse. So she invited me to go, and oh my gosh, I met all these cool people. They were from all over Oklahoma. And so that's when we went ahead and did a story about it. And I just think it's, again, post-pandemic, some of these types of events that had been going on for decades, COVID killed it, and it's taken this long, and that's what she said, to kind of get it back up and going again. So
that was a great story. And I think I read in there that some of them spend up to 12 hours a day there.
Yeah, they do.
So but once you get into the crafty process and you're starting that, then the same is true with the magazine. Sometimes whole days will go by and I don't realize it.
I think I call it when you get in flow, you have everything's hitting on the cylinders, you have everything kind of at your fingertips, so you don't want to stop in the middle of it and disrupt it. And so when I went, and they weren't just, we said crafting. Some of them were doing scrapbooking. Some of them were doing mixed media. Some of them were doing photo. They have all different types of projects. So they bring all of their equipment in. This one guy had a video set up, and he was doing all this cutting and pasting and things, but he live streams it on Twitch and TikTok. So it was a really cool thing to kind of see what all the different projects people were working on.
Yeah, very cool on that. So a big thing It is. This is Thanksgiving week. So
is.
Friday is Black Friday.
Yeah.
Santa Bucks. Let's talk
Oh my
Santa
gosh.
Bucks. I've got
Tell you
last
what.
week we have Shelly on the podcast to talk about Santa Bucks. She of course that's her big thing. So
It is.
you could watch that and get all the details behind the scenes and her take on it. But how do you feel? You were the chair for the chamber last year, right?
I was the chamber chair, and I said, guys, we got to do a live stream. We got to do a Facebook live. And they all kind of looked at me like, why are we doing that? But we did it, and it was fantastic. They tripled or quadrupled their Facebook following. And I think it was just this really fun thing where the whole entire, not just Ponca City, but I feel like Kay County and all the surrounding areas, they kind of stop that night and everybody is tuned in to the radio because you can listen live on the radio. Facebook has about a 5-second delay, but we still had all these business owners come in. It added to the fun, I feel like. And now this year, Jeremy Sackett, who is also on the chamber board, he developed an app. So now you can track all your tickets on the Santa Bucks app. The disclosure is you still have to have your winning ticket.
Right.
You can't just go off the app. But I just feel like over the years it's changed and adapted. It used to be outside at Solon Stadium, and then everybody would come in their blankets. Obviously now everybody can just stay home and stay warm. But it's such a fun thing for the community to help remind people to shop local. So
Yeah, definitely so.
Yeah.
And we have all of that information in the magazine. It's also on the website now. And again, last week you can watch the podcast with Shelly, and she talks all about it.
Yep.
Let's talk about, we also have a brand new column
Yes,
this month.
we
Tell me a little bit
do.
about that and how that came about.
So Bill Lauder, I met Bill maybe a year or two ago, just briefly, and I had talked to a couple people that said, Kelsey, Bill Lauder is an amazing writer. You got to get him in the magazine. And he had kind of been on my list for a while. Well, he is, I'm not going to give it away, but he's working on a big project, and we will have a big story about that coming in the springtime. But I got to meet him and really talk to him more in person. And I said, Bill, and he showed me some of the stories. So he's a big world traveler. He's like traveled to every sports stadium in the United States. And he's traveled all over the world. And he has these little short stories that he writes about where he travels and what he does. And he's a very interesting traveler. Like, he doesn't just go on the regular tour, whatever, the 3-hour thing that everybody's been on. He hires an individual tour guide and he goes off-road, like back road, up mountains, up all this crazy stuff. And he just tells them in a really funny, witty way. So he is doing this new travel blog, I guess you would say, in the magazine. And I think it's going to be really, really great. The first story was I'm going to say it wrong, the Banana Bandita.
Right.
And not only is he a fantastic writer, but he has these amazing pictures. I feel like a picture is worth 1,000 words. And I have a very high bar of the people I even let write in the magazine. Honestly, I've had to tell people no because we have a reputation to defend. And a lot of people that read the magazine expect that high quality. And so Bill, I think he far exceeds it.
Cool. So definitely check him out. Check out his adventures.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there'll be more fun stuff, but who knows where he'll end up.
It's called A Taste of Travel. Sorry, I left that part out.
Taste of Travel.
Taste of Travel.
Yeah. So that will probably be up this week sometime. I'm not exactly sure what day we're going to drop this podcast because I think we should drop it before Thanksgiving Day.
Okay. Yeah.
But we'll see. So I don't know. We'll see how that's going to work out. We also, this month, had Amy Guerin from Does the Food Crush. We had her on 2 weeks ago on the podcast to talk about Thanksgiving foods and kind of just, traditional foods that we like and things like that, and kind of got a little behind the scenes of Food Crush. But this month, Food Crush takes on Mary's Grill. A lot of beautiful pies and things like that. It's probably too late to order a pie for Thanksgiving from them.
We're getting down to the nitty gritty here. So.
If you waited this long to order your pies, shame on you.
Well, and Amy Guerin is such a great addition to the magazine. Not only does she knows food, Her late husband, Roger, was this wonderful chef. Amy's a wonderful chef. They know food. They traveled all over the world. And she just has so many stories. And what I love about Amy is she really ties into the value of food into our life and into our friendships. And I know, Andy, you love food. You're a chef. I mean, you all kind of, tell that same story. And it's an important part of our cultural identity and of our community. So it's a big cornerstone, I feel like.
Yeah. We also, every month we've got some of our favorite people. Mental Health Minute. I saw Relo. If you remember, over the summer, we did a special series with Relo, talking about their whole process of their pregnancy and things like that. But now I see that it's almost time. They're getting very close.
Well, so I don't know if you saw, and by the time this airs, I'm sure the baby will be born. But her water broke, and so she is having the Ponca City Monthly baby. So I'm so excited for them. What a joyful experience to go through and be a part of. And so I think the baby is a little bit early, but they'll be great. They'll be fine, and they have a huge support system. So congratulations to them.
Yeah. This month Relo talks all about dealing with Thanksgiving and family, because that can sometimes be an exciting time. Holidays can always be a little emotionally draining or fulfilling, however you see it. But so that kind of takes care of this issue. Was there anything else in this issue that you wanted to touch on? Again, I always have to say this because it's always fun. I love when it's a holiday because Robin's ads are so fun. She did a couple of ads this year. She used a blue and orange combination that I had never seen, and I fell in love with it. And so my entire house is blue and orange right now.
Nice. I love that. No, I mean, I'll just say, so the thoughts on higher education, all of our columns kind of have a theme. And so we're going to be changing up the theme, not in December, but in January for our thoughts on higher education. So look for that. It'll have a whole new theme, just to keep it interesting and fun. So
yeah. Always, the normal stuff, our crossword puzzles and things like that are always a good time.
Yeah.
So this year we're doing something a little different, and we kind of sometimes in the business things just catch up with you, and this year was one of those years. And so normally we put out our gift guide on Black Friday. This year we're going to do it digitally, correct? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so every year we try to get out the Thanksgiving issue, the November issue, the December issue before Thanksgiving.
But it's very stressful for those of us that have to do it.
It is very stressful. And this year we decided, you know what, with the internet, with Facebook, with all the tools we have available. And because the other thing that I've never loved about that is that kind of cuts into our November issue. So it makes the November issue kind of, only gets 3 weeks, whereas December gets 5 weeks. But so what we're going to do is we're going to get the December issue will come out as normal on the 1st, but we're going to get out the entire gift guide, which is your absolute best connection to all the gift ideas that are here locally available. A lot of our stores, that they might have one gift idea, they might have 10 gift ideas. We're going to get that out on social media and on the website before Thanksgiving. So it'll be out, the day before Thanksgiving.
Okay. Yep. So probably maybe coincide with the release of this podcast.
Yes.
I'm not sure. It may come out Wednesday. It may come out Tuesday. We'll just have to see.
Yeah. So we'll tag all those local businesses, because the more we can get traffic to their websites and to their Facebooks, the better off they are getting the word out about their products.
Yeah. And all of that, again, it goes back to the whole Santa Bucks thing, shopping local and keeping everything here local. And they always do. I think that what's great about the gift guide and what Robin does such a great job of is there's all kinds of things. There's little tiny gifts. If you have a small budget, there's big fancy gifts if you have a big budget. So there's really all kinds of different things.
Gifts
in
for women, gifts for teenage boys, gifts, all different kinds, all ages, all genders. So there is something for everybody in there. And I always wait until I do my Christmas shopping until it comes out because I use it a lot. Yeah.
Definitely. And that's going to be, again, that comes out sometime this week, may already be out. But yeah, so, all right, we've gotten almost to the halfway point, which means it's about time to discuss your mayor thing. And this kind of ties in. We've already discussed this. This sort of ties into Why we didn't have the podcast on the first.
Yes, it does. It does. So I was at two different events. One of them was the Oklahoma Academy Town Hall. And the Oklahoma Academy Town Hall is a bipartisan think tank where every year we kind of have a theme. And there's people from all over Oklahoma. They're, lawyers and teachers and politicians and city work. I mean, all these different people from different backgrounds. And we all talk about that issue and we say, how can we solve this? What are the legislative solutions to this? So this year's theme, it was talking about how to build resiliency in communities. But what it really ended up talking about, because what it really boils down to is how do we get Oklahoma communities and cities to be vibrant, right? Like I feel like that as mayor, that's what I talk about all the time. Like we want to have a vibrant downtown. We want to have a lot of housing options. We want to have all these cool things. And so I can't understate it enough. Like municipal funding is a really big, complicated issue. And a lot of people they kind of glaze over in the eyes when I start talking about it, but it's really important. So if you look at Oklahoma City and Tulsa, and the way that the Oklahoma system of funding cities is set up, it's set up through sales tax. We are the only state in the entire United States that funds our cities solely through sales tax. So all the other states fund it through ad valorem, which is through property tax. They did that in 1964. I don't even know all the reasoning behind it, but in that time, I think we've seen, because I know for you, Andy, and for me, sometimes you have to go to Oklahoma City to get something right. That's not available locally. And so what I see is there's kind of this mismatch of they're getting our tax dollars, but I don't think there's a lot of people driving from Oklahoma City to Ponca City once or twice a year to go shopping.
Sure.
And so what we found during that 2-3 day bipartisan think tank, and I'll just use the exact quote, is that rural Oklahoma cities are chronically and structurally underfunded. So, for example, a lot of communities, less than 50% of their budget that comes in for sales tax, let me rephrase that. Their entire budget that comes in from sales tax doesn't even cover their safety. Like safety is one of the biggest budget items. So fire department, police, a lot of times the sales tax doesn't even cover that. And that's 50% of a city's budget. And so cities have had to get really creative to come up with these other sources of revenue. But because infrastructure, it's increased by 40% in the last 5 years. Nobody wants their water pipes to break, right? Nope. And everybody wants to make sure that that we're be able to be proactive. But because rural Oklahoma cities are so constrained budgetarily, and we know, labor costs are up and insurance costs are up and all these costs are up. And so cities they're in really bad shape. And so there is a big movement to call on the Oklahoma legislatures to find out a way to get cities where they have more consistent funding that meets the needs of the community. Nobody likes taxes. I don't like taxes. But when you ask someone like, okay, well, what is a good tax number? Well, the good tax number is that it's paying for the services that the citizens demand. Mm-hmm. And so right now, it's really not. And so how do we figure that out? What conversations do we have? So I'll get off my soapbox. And again,
am I glazing over?
Yes, you are. I can see it. It's so, and I get it. It bores me sometimes, but it's something that we have to talk about.
Sure. Because whenever a water main breaks and drops a big sinkhole in the middle of Can Garden, we need our team to be able to get out there and fix it as fast as possible to get water back to the city.
To spend like the $50,000 that it may take for emergency 12-inch water main break, I would love to spend that on something else, but that is the priority. Essential city services, water, power, trash, those things are the top priority, and they always have to be, because if you don't have water, you don't have a community. So,
sure. Yeah. That not having water, you can tell whenever there's a little water problem. And
you can tell.
You can go onto the community watch page.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
See what that's like. But yes, and again, I think that goes back to right now we're really hyping up, Santa Bucks. Mm-hmm. Buy local, yeah. All of that comes full circle for us. That money that we spent here goes directly back into our community. I don't know.
Yeah, all the sales tax that you spend, especially, the holiday season, is not only vital to support the businesses, it is vital to support your community and your city government and the essential city services that you depend on. So great point. Yeah.
Yeah. So great time of year for that. Again, as we're wrapping up here, I want to again remember that this episode is sponsored by Greenwood Aerospace. We were talking about, changes at the airport.
Yep.
I believe in the airport article, there's a big section on Greenwood Aerospace.
Yes. Yeah.
We are super proud of them because they are a huge supporter of Northern Oklahoma Humane Society.
Yeah.
And again, as I said earlier, this is a great time of year to remember, when you're giving away or donating things this time of year, it's a great place to remember to donate to the Northern Oklahoma Humane Society. They are not a part of the overall reaching Humane Society. They are completely independent. So they are completely dependent on our volunteers and our donations. So,
and I'll just do a little plug for them because I know we talk about, there's a lot of people going hungry. There was some issues with SNAP, which I think right now is temporarily resolved. But I'm really proud of the Humane Society. They're launching a pet pantry. I think they've had some form of it in the past, but they're expanding it. And so, during these cold winter months, if you want to go, when you go Christmas shopping, go buy a bag of dog food, you can donate that and they will give it to a pet in need or a pet owner in need who maybe can't afford to give food, especially during such a difficult time. So
and we've talked about that. We had Justin on to talk about that because whenever you're in that food strap period, it's the first thing you want to do is get rid of the dog because we don't have money to feed it. And they're saying, hey, we can help you with that. So definitely.
And that keeps the dogs in the houses and out of the pound and the Humane Society.
And keeps it in, it really helps our community to grow in that way and keep our pets safe. So definitely, again, Greenwood Aerospace, thank you all so much for joining us. And wow, we're already to December. So we'll be back with you next week to discuss the December issue and get ready for Christmas and all the fun. You know what we forgot to discuss?
What?
All of the fun things going on for
gosh.
December because we have a lot. We
do have a lot.
Can't leave until we tell you about because we've got the Christmas parade, huge part of our community here, and that's going to be Friday, December 2nd.
Yes, Friday, December 2nd. The Christmas parade is probably the second biggest parade we have here in Ponca City, right behind the Veterans Day parade. But it's a great time, and come on out, especially now that this is the first year we have these dangling lights that are down the street, which I feel like have just added to the ambiance of, the ice on the plaza that we have and all the downtown flower beds. So really, really cool event.
Did you come up with any cool ideas for the flower beds for what to do?
I did. I don't think I'm supposed to announce it
Okay.
But something is coming.
It's a top secret thing.
It is.
Even though we have the mayor with us, we can't tell you what it is.
Well, I don't like to say something's going to happen before it happens because then it doesn't happen. And then
Absolutely.
people are mad at me. So they're working on it.
Yeah. And you mentioned Ice on the Plaza.
Yeah.
They have their own Facebook page and a website, and you can get all of the details because they have events going on almost every day.
All the time. Reindeer on the plaza. They've got Santa Clauses coming. I think they've got penguins again this year. So all different kinds of stuff. Really amazing sponsors are what make those possible. So
yeah, and you can, like I said, go to their Facebook, go to their website, find out about that. Check out Ponca City Main Street.
Yeah, visit poncacity.com, has all of the events listed for the entire town. Festival of Angels, make sure that you get out there. There are lights all over town at the Pioneer Woman, but the majority of them are Can Gardens and then over at Lake Ponca. So, or the duck ponds, I guess.
We had discussed this. Since it's been warm, I've already put up my Christmas lights.
I think everybody has. Our lights are up. I mean, we went ahead and plugged ours in because, who cares?
Oh, see, I haven't. I'm waiting for Thanksgiving Day to do lights on because my neighbor keeps telling me because she hasn't got her lights up yet, and she keeps telling me that I can't turn my lights on.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. My neighbor, so we have a lawn company, and they put everybody's lights on. So everybody had their lights up. Well, my neighbor down the street turned hers on, and I was like, she turned them on. She started it, so I had to turn mine on. So.
I honestly don't know what happened because usually I am the week before Christmas is when I want to put everything up and start doing all of that. But this year I woke up one day. Here's what happened. A friend of mine gave me a Christmas tree, and I didn't want to put it in the attic and then bring it down.
Oh yeah.
For 3 weeks, and so I was like, Halloween night, the kids stopped coming and I turned off the light and I was like, well, we could just take down Halloween and put up Christmas.
So that's literally Jill, our other employee in here. She said she took down Halloween and put up Christmas the next day. I see nothing wrong with it. Like, there are just no rules anymore. I feel like you can do whatever you want. So
we compromised a little bit. And so the outside of our house, like when you come into the front door, is all Thanksgiving. And then as soon as you get into the door, it's Christmas.
See, that's funny because we did all Christmas. My whole outdoor, my house is all decked in Christmas. Inside is still Thanksgiving because I'm having Thanksgiving.
Right.
So I thought I'll wait to get all the indoor Christmas stuff out until Thanksgiving. I don't know.
Well, so again, my thing was nobody comes for Thanksgiving. Nobody is going to be here. And then all of a sudden, now that we've decorated for Christmas, everyone has decided to come to our house for Thanksgiving. So that's what we get anyway.
There you go.
All right.
Okay.
You guys, I hope you all have a fantastic holiday. Come back with us next week, kick off Christmas. We've got all kinds of fun Christmassy type of podcasts for this month. We probably are going to do a few less podcasts because it is Christmas and we are taking some time. We have a lot of stuff going on.
We do.
We are super excited because right after the first of the year, we're going to kind of kick off Call Lake Life magazine.
Yeah.
So that's a brand new magazine we're working on. So a lot of stuff going on. So yeah, there may be a few less podcasts. You may have to kind of recap. But I was shocked whenever I put the finishing touches on last week and realized we were at like 32.
Crazy.
Which I know in the grand spectrum of podcast isn't a huge number, but for me, that's a lot.
Well, and we kind of started this whole thing from nothing.
Yeah.
I don't think, is there anybody else in Ponca City really doing consistent podcasts that I
Yes, but nothing that is consistently about Ponca City.
Okay,
Like that's I think what separates us is that ours is about Ponca City.
Yeah.
Annie Owen, who was here a few weeks, she's starting a new podcast, but again, hers is about scary death stuff.
Oh, I'm so into true crime right now. I'll be all over it.
Yeah, I got to hear the first episode. It was very cool. Yeah. And I'm super excited for it. But yeah, I think we're the only one. Yeah. I think Liz Leeming told me that we were the only one in town that does.
Well, I'm really proud of us. I'm proud of you, Andy.
Yeah, I'm proud of us too. Yeah. Like I think this is cool. And I don't think that most people realize what an achievement it is for a small magazine to be in business for 5-6 years.
Oh yeah. And we know every year we're like, well, hopefully this year goes well. You never know.
Like we all kind of walk on eggshells and be like, is this gonna keep going? Because it is. It's you guys that really make it possible for us. You picking up the magazine, reading the stories.
Yes, absolutely.
Interacting with us on Facebook.
Well, and our advertisers. We could not do it without our advertisers. They make everything possible. They make this podcast possible. Our sponsor, Greenwood Aviation. Greenwood Aerospace. Everything. All the people that support the magazine and that read it and tell people about it, share it with their friends. They make it possible. So.
Yep. So thank you guys, and we'll be back next week. Have a great week. Happy Thanksgiving.